Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chaos of the Internet podcast. I'm Husky/Moon, and I am your host. Today, our featured guests are One Ocean 10 and Sivak, and we will be discussing community building and how we've built our communities, how we've seen other people run communities, and anything about communities. First off, I reached out to One Ocean 10, a popular streamer within our community, and I asked two questions that he was so nice to answer for me, which is, what are the positives and negatives you've experienced in a community, and what has it been like building a community? So, this is what he had to say.
So my name is Ocean, and I am the founder of my YouTube channel, One Ocean 10. I'm also the founder of the community that surrounds that channel on Discord of about 7,000 people, and I'm also the founder, one of the founders of San Andreas' Finest, which is a gaming roleplay community. So I've been a part of cultivating and maintaining these two communities for about 9 years now, going on 10 in next March. And some of the positives I've noticed over the years is it's a nice feeling to watch people come together for a common interest or common goal. Whether it's they're a fan of something, or it's a mutual project that everyone's working on. And seeing people from different walks of life come together for a common interest, in a lot of ways can, in very small ways, show you the positive sides of humanity and society. No matter, differences that people may have, if they have a common interest, I find that a lot of people will set everything else aside and work towards that common goal or interest and have those discussions and work together on projects and whatnot. And, something that we see a lot in today's society with everything being so tense. And, a lot of what we see in the media is just, we see a lot of the negative of society and what happens when people come together. In my experience on smaller communities like the ones that I'm a part of, I get to see a lot of the like I said, a lot of that being set aside and people working together, and it really makes you realize like a lot of I guess we could say small towns. If we were to consider this community online as like a small town, everyone kind of knows each other and everyone kind of works well together. And of course there's disagreements and whatnot, and part of cultivating and maintaining these communities is having to deal with some of those sometimes, some debates or arguments or heated discussions, and that's fine. That's just, we're all human and we're dealing with people that are human. But I think some of my favorite experiences over the last decade of being a part of these communities and helping to create these spaces for everybody is hearing the stories that people come to me with about their experiences in the community. I've had some people that have come to me when they joined my community when they were in a really bad stage of their life, like everything was going wrong and they felt hopeless, and they were looking for somewhere to find support and like non-clinical support, just to be around people or to have a common goal or project or just discussion with other people. And online communities can really help break the ice, or even just not have the ice exist to need to break at all, because you're kind of on a for the most part on a anonymous scale as far as how you put yourself out there, if you choose to, or you can be as forthcoming or as anonymous as you want, but you can still enter these spaces and have that interaction with people that could lead to some positive results. And I've seen people that have joined that were really battling depression or other things, and come to me later on and said, like, this kind of really helped me. Like I found a a purpose or a just support or just a reason, just to keep going. And that's meant the world to me. A lot of people have come to me, and said that I have personally been those things for them, and that's still, it's still, almost 10 years in, it's still humbling to me, and it's still kind of, it feels, I guess you could almost call it like imposter syndrome. It feels like, no, I can't possibly be that person. I'm not that important, but then I kind of, look at it for what it is, and I see it as a really positive thing that, like, hey, I helped this person get through something, and I didn't even know it. It was just by me being there, and for the community being there, on a wider spectrum. And it's really nice to see that because of things that I've created, and I love creating things. That's just something I'm always passionate about doing, and having fostered two very successful communities where people could come together, and seeing how it's had positive effects on those who join it. It's a really nice feeling. It really is. And I've never seen myself as like a community leader, but I just found myself in that position, and it's very rewarding. It feels very nice. And there's always downsides to maintaining a community that you've built. I forget which philosopher or famous person said it, but it was maybe in a book or something that I've read, or I don't remember. But in any group or community, when you have a lot of like-minded people come together for a common goal, and you start to build on that, and more people join, and everyone's working together, it is inevitable. It is inevitable that there will be individuals who want to seek more power in that group and want to be on top and just be an important person when it's not really necessary to be that for the community, and they start focusing on the individual and not the community. And power does corrupt, and one thing that's something that you have to navigate when you run a community is how to navigate those people and how to deal with them, and try to either get them back on track, or have them leave the community. And I've seen in the last 10 years quite a few people who have done exactly that, and they begin to focus on what they want out of the community instead of what they can contribute to the community. And sometimes they find like-minded people, and it becomes a bit of a clique, and then that clique is focused on their what they want and their motives, and they can very slowly start to overpower what the community is about. And if left unchecked, it can be a very slow process, but eventually it can become a large problem just by letting it grow, over time, because sometimes it's just something that's not noticeable until it's too late. And I've seen a lot of people come through that are exactly like that, and it's almost taken down some of the spaces that I've been in, because it's demoralized other people who were just there for what the community was originally founded for. And to see it be swayed or manipulated by people who only have their own motives that differ from what the community is, the core values of the community are, it could almost destroy things and bring down morale. So it's happened a few times, and I've seen it, whether I've had to deal with it, or other people that I've trusted, my peers to deal with it. And that's always a negative. It always happens. Like when you bring small or large groups of people together, eventually there will be people that come forward and try to clamber to the top and change things for their purposes. And you just have to deal with it all the time. And that I mean, we see that all over the world in different ways. From politics to companies or corporations, or just online communities or towns. Or fire departments. It's everywhere. And that's just part of being in a community. Is you're always going to have different different opinions from other people, and it's how you work together with the people you disagree with that really makes a community either flourish or fall. So but I always try to see the positive in everything, and whenever something negative does happen, I kind of just we deal with it, and then we move on. And if it's a big enough shakeup, we recover and we rebuild. And that's what makes a good community, is the ability to bounce back even when everything about that community is on the line or torn down. It's rebuilding, and that's in a large part is due to the people in that community. If they truly love the space that they're in, they will do anything to keep it alive and keep others happy. Because in the end, no matter how much cruelty there is in the world, there are good people everywhere that don't want to see other people hurt or come to harm and want to take care of each other. I think we all have a natural tendency to want to take care of each other, and I think that my communities that I've helped foster have proven that over time, and time and time again. And it's really nice to see. So I love the communities that I'm a part of, and I love the people that are in it. And I can't imagine a life having not taken that step to create these places for everyone to come together. This has been, out of all of my creations, out of everything I've done, out of all the silly little videos I've made on YouTube or anything, this is perhaps my favorite thing, because when you hear stories firsthand of someone who's met their life partner, for and they're still together, years later after meeting in this place that you've helped create, you realize that you've made such a profound impact on someone's life that if you hadn't made this community, if you hadn't made this space for people to come together, these two people wouldn't have met. And, who knows where they'd be today or if they'd be as happy as they are now. But to see that kind of thing happen and know that you're the reason for it, and that the community as a whole is a reason for that to have occurred, like you've changed two people's lives forever. And that's huge in the big picture. So yeah, that's what I love about this, and that's what I love about fostering these kind of communities, is just making people's lives better.
What's the biggest impact you've seen a community do is the topic question.
Good golly, that is extremely hard to freaking talk about. Not like extremely hard, but like it's an interesting topic, I feel like, because there could be so much with that there. Like, especially coming from me, because like I'm someone who like to think he's built a little small community of people who just enjoy, watching me play video games. It started from like maybe 5 people, now I'm up to 500 almost, I think. Or I'm over 500 at this point. But I think it depends really on what else is going on. The struggle that I had with community building was ridiculous, because it took me forever just to even get the minimum stuff.
Mm-hmm.
you know. I mean, even now, I'm still trying to build it. I haven't stopped, you know, because
I
I
mean,
want to be
community
that person
building
that.
doesn't stop, so
No, it never does. But like, especially in my case, though, I want to build it up to as much as I can, to as big as I can.
hmm
Why? I'm just that kind of person. I don't know why. That's what I want to do. So therefore, I'm going to do it.
well, I mean, like being a part of the community and raising a community are like two very polar opposite things.
Oh, easily. The amount of stress that I get because I feel like I'm letting people down from like my community side of things is fucking shocking.
Yeah.
Compared to in the gaming, excuse me, compared to in the gaming community that I'm in, where it's the complete opposite, and I'm not really I'm trying to think of the words here. Words are hard. Compared to like the other community where I'm just kind of enjoying it. You know, I'm just enjoying it, offering my input where I need to, and just I kind of stay out of it. Compared to like, and that's a normal thing. Like in my place, I'm always thinking, okay, what can I do to be better? Or what can I do to get my community more involved in stuff to where we're all having fun and enjoying ourselves,
Yeah,
right?
and I mean, like, for me now, like, I've always been, like, involved in, like, well, like, the community we're in, where I'm now trying to constantly host game nights and get bonding, with everybody kind of stuff going on. And then I also do that with my shift. I've harassed my shift now about stuff, like, in character context. And then to the Discord that is now almost 200 members, and now I have to sit here and spend time hiring moderators to help protect said community.
Because people are dumb. If you didn't watch last podcast, please do.
If you haven't watched week 1 or week 2, or yeah, week 1 and week 2, recommend tune in about the
Totally.
algorithm is
The
week
algorithm
2.
of the internet said how dumb it is. Anywho,
It it's special. It's definitely special. And then week 1 about just general positives and negatives about the internet and a on topic, off topic rant.
well, like, but there's always pros and cons to like everything. Like, there's pros and cons to having a community right now. It depends on
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it depends on the general people that you're with too.
Mm-hmm.
Like pick and choosing people, and then guess what? You choose the wrong people, it leads to drama, and then you have more
Mm-hmm.
stuff that really shouldn't be said but gets said anyway because people are dumb. And then it
Yeah.
leads to chaos, and then we have more drama, bull crap, and then people start their own stuff because they're petty.
I mean, going into a more non-aggressive rant about people being petty, but I mean the atmosphere of communities pre-COVID and after COVID have also changed
Oh,
drastically.
1,000 freaking percent.
I mean, I was in a community before COVID, and that was polar opposite to how things work now. And I think that's just the age of like Discord becoming a more popularized thing. I mean, now, like, when you make a Discord server, it's like, what are you making this for? Is this a community server? Is this.
Yeah, the fact that it literally asks you questions now, I'm sitting here like, I just want to make a server, let me make it!
Yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't even make my Discord server. I just got handed ownership of it after someone set it up, like 45% of it. Then the rest I just added on stuff. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of raising a community too, because it's like it's diverse. It's highly diverse.
I can agree with that. And again, that I think that ties to again the people that you involve yourself with, though, right?
hmm I mean, we've seen like charity streams and stuff from people, and like whole entire communities coming together to do massive impacts. And then you also have the like communities that have also caused absolute chaos.
There's well, yeah, but you have that everywhere over the world too, though, right? You're gonna have those group of people that cause chaos. I mean, the internet's just adding to it from like a community standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm. It's no longer just like, oh, it's the people in my area. It's now everywhere.
I mean, oh, I'd be honest, give me a second. Oh, shoot. There's times I've seen community like our community come together, like especially when we've lost members due to IRL health issues and or tragic events. I've seen them come together and make something great out of it.
Mhm.
And there's some places that want to emulate that, but it's hard to.
Yeah.
And there's other servers that have tried to do the same thing, and I'm sitting here like, okay, it's great and all, but
Mhm.
think about the communities outside the internet hurting from this too, right? No, but like communities of Joe, I've seen come together and do really great things for people, both like with health issues as well as just struggling.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like it helps you as a person earn respect for the people that care about you.
Yeah.
I remember in particular there was an individual who used to be an administrator in our community. Their computer broke, and the next a whole bunch of people crowdfunded money so he can get a new rig.
I mean, like, for me, like, coming from a standpoint of, like, my chat knows, I attempted the lovely 24-hour live stream, and that became a very major battle between mental health and, like, I don't think anyone has a true respect for anyone who can commit to doing a full 24-hour live stream or anything longer. Like, I applaud said people for attempting that because no one tells you how mentally and also, like, physically draining
Oh, don't even get
pushing.
me started. I tried doing one of those recently, and it
Yeah.
was like, I had support from my community, from my people who were there the whole time. But like,
Yeah. I remember there was one viewer with me that stuck out for 21 hours. I made it, and even then at the end I was just shaking and crying at the end of that stream because I was so exhausted. And I wanted to continue, but for health reasons, there was no way
yeah,
I
I mean,
could
health
continue.
always comes first, and people always seem to forget about that, especially from like a community aspect. There's a lot of people that forget about that because people get so devoted into it,
Yeah,
and I feel like that could be a negative sometimes. Is that you'll see that, people forget that hey, we're human too, guys.
exactly. And it's just like it's very interesting, and you kind of get an idea of how like you've raised your community after like situations like that, because like in some communities I've seen people like yell at people for not committing to like certain bits, or you know pushing for their mental health because they want more content and stuff. And then like there's like other communities where it's like, yeah, go take a break, go take care of yourself. So like again, with just like how you raise your community is how your community kind of treats you.
I mean, and again, there's pros and cons to it, right? And I talk about this all the time, at least in my stuff. Is always, there's a fraying, there's a saying I always use at the end of whenever I'm done, streaming or using my social media, and it's always stay calm, stay cool, stay hydrated, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stay calm part is enjoy life. Don't get wound up over the stupid stuff that happens, because stupid stuff happens all the time in life. Again, that's just life. It's just how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
What
For
was that about?
me, you were on about your saying that you have at the end
Oh
of
yeah,
this.
yeah. So it's like I have the same calm one, right? Which I kind of went over. It's just enjoy life. Don't let the stupid stuff fire you up and um, ruin your day and everything. The stay cool. The stay cool is how like the surfer dude's like, hey, what's up, dude? Stay cool and everything. I kind of took it from that in a sense of the surfers are always enjoying life, enjoying what's out there.
I mean, I don't have like a little outro bit, but I do have something I do every time someone follows me, which is welcome to the chaos. We appreciate your existence because yeah, I feel like
Your streams are just chaotic at the end of the day.
my streams are pure chaos, and most of the time any VOD watcher will probably be always confused if they're strictly YouTube. And to my YouTube peoples, I appreciate your existence too. You've made it through the chaos of the internet and found now a bigger instance of chaos into.
A bigger chaotic pile that you somehow lodged yourself into, which I don't know how you did that, but
You found it entertaining, so you subscribe. Thank you. Episode 2 had 0 bloopers because I solo filmed it.
well, I mean that's probably why.
Anyway,
Anywho's,
back on
um,
topic.
oh, but I mean, you know what? There's always there's always those sayings that you're gonna get. Like a big one that I feel like, and this came from like the Code Zero group. So if you remember, at least the people who watch, the GTA world, know of like Jeff Favignano, Barry Bugs, Polecat,
Mm-hmm.
Zachary Houseneck, and all of them. One of the famous ones was "There it is," or "He's zacking it." Um, I think a typical one that I always hear, at least Jeff use, is "There it is." Like they add some kind of twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's transfer it. Like there's a lot of 5M communities now that are using it.
Yeah.
And sadly, those 5M communities are copying certain people that I'm not going to comment within a podcast that is meant for a school.
No, I mean that's true because you can look at other content creators and it will just be what I like to call copycat content, which is similar if not the exact same popular content. And I think we see that a lot now with like the Minecraft community, how a lot of it has turned into this childish, turned to kids in a really weird way.
Yes and no, I think, right? Because
Yeah.
like here's my thing with the Minecraft thing, right? Like
Mhm.
with the Dream Team. So like Dream, George,
Yeah.
all of them, they have really built something there because they did something different.
Yeah. And
They're
I
just
mean for
people who are
me,
good at playing Minecraft, all trying to just kill the main character of it.
but the thing
Well,
is they've
I don't know,
also
but
wrapped themselves up in so much drama and that like
what is drama
they're
not a thing though? And
well,
anywhere.
it's more like their communities have turned all against them and that's a common thing you can see with that portion of them. And I mean like in real honesty, that entire thing has like collapsed. Like cuz there's like the Dream SMP that completely collapsed after too much drama got involved.
Yeah, but drama's like again, and I talked about this in an earlier podcast, I think too. Drama's just a thing in life nowadays, and it's a crap thing to say, but like there's a lot of drama that leads to fun stuff ending. Good example, the Dream SMP.
Yeah.
I hate saying it, but I mean it's a sad truth.
Mhm. I mean, it also started the career of a handful of people within that community at the same time.
Yes and
So
no.
a lot of them made names for themselves, but like
I think a lot of people
kickstarted.
got more viewership from it, and
Yeah.
they started to build their communities around said viewership. I've seen
Yeah.
that a lot.
Yes. Indeed, and that's one part of it. But like if you look at like other communities too, like there's like it depends on the community you're in, honestly, and also the age group.
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
I like, with 5M content, your age group is usually, if I had to take a rough shot of it, like 13 and up kind of situation.
Well, here's the thing: it could be really any age.
It can. It depends
It's a
on the type
crapshoot
of
nowadays.
community.
And I say anyone because we all know people have access to the internet basically everywhere nowadays.
I
You
mean,
know,
one member's introduced me to like a public, like 5M server, and I'm like, or 5PD, and that was a very new, interesting world.
you're talking about TSTOJ, I'm guessing.
Probably yes.
Doesn't surprise me. That one's like the main big popular one.
Yeah, whatever, Sammy.
Yeah, that's Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sammy dragged me into that.
I already freaking knew it. I'm smart. I promise you.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I hope I could promise that. I mean, otherwise I kind of suck.
But there's also like I mentioned this in the first episode, the drama with like Primely and like Dan TDM versus like KSI and Logan Paul and Mr. Beast, and then the entire like YouTube civil war is what people are hashtagging it now. I mean, don't get me started on
honestly, I don't pay
hashtags.
attention to it, so I don't know. I know I haven't even heard of that stuff.
Um, Pretty much, Dan TM called out KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast for creating a copycat pretty much of Lunchables without really much benefit. And there are a bunch of doctors, non-doctors, people in general just going over and comparing Lunchables to Primely and how it's just another product that is targeting kids. And so, but Logan Paul and KSI are not making the situation better and just causing immense drama on
Yeah, but I
Twitter.
mean, here's the thing with the Paul family. Like, that's gonna happen no matter what. It's just the way
Yes.
it's the way
That
that
has
community sees them.
that's the whole entire just community as a whole since like a long time ago I used to watch that content for like maybe like 2 months before I got out of there. But like it was always drama filled. There were always something negative.
Well, but
Or
like, and here's the thing though, too, though, right? Sometimes it's the drama that actually draw people in, just because they're nosy. Certain
yeah,
words again, I cannot share right now, but you
I
guys know
mean
what I want to say. I'm assuming.
even then, like if you look at like my content, like my most popular content ends up being like Moon almost dying.
Yeah, it's usually death of characters for some reason that really does it.
And I mean, like, the one day I let my chat control the entirety of what happened to Moon after a shift, it was my character drowning. So you can see where
Yeah,
like
so I mean,
the tendency of what people normally like. And another thing is animal content. Animal content has just been the birth of the internet. Let's be real.
yeah, but you know what? There's, and I have to be really careful with how I word this because I could offend so many different people. Um, again, there's probably pros and cons to it. I think that's probably the best way I can put it. Right? Is like, like the animal content has been on the rise, but then it's raised other questions about certain things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I mean, like earlier, just like on my recommendation feed, it was like why YouTubers and influencers shouldn't have animals. It was like on my feed like this morning.
Well, like, and there's some really good ones out there, right? Like, if this is gonna make me sound really old, but Gold Glove is someone in particular who I think has changed a lot
Mm-hmm. I mean,
since.
positive like animal content. Like if I'm thinking that way, I'm thinking Rocky Kanara and Hope for Paws. Like this is the positive animal content I see.
I've seen it from both sides. I've seen both the positive and the negative. Some people just do the for the attention. The other ones actually like just they want to show off the animal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Speaking of animals,
yeah. Speaking of animals,
it's a very angry one downstairs. I think they're done.
next thing you know, they're just gonna start running up and jumping all over you because they got the zoomies.
Oh God.
I mean, I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to community building.
Well, no, but like we were talking about community building though, and
Yeah.
it's a thing of there's so many different communities out there. We can probably go on this for like a day and a half, but we just don't have time for a day and a half worth of talking about this. You know,
Yeah.
I think the really big thing though too, and people always seem to forget about this as well, is just the fact of you have people who are just trying to start the drama. You have your Logan Pauls or your KS, or you have like the Paul family. I wouldn't even just say Logan because fucking his brother's the same shit.
Yeah.
At least I like to think so at times. Are they great people for what they do? Of course, because I mean, guess what? They've built a community around it, but they've also led to a lot of hatred and a lot of mistrust.
Yes. And I
Oh, excuse
mean,
me.
I'm looking at my notes I wrote. Like I didn't write many notes for this episode, but like one of the things I wrote was the stronger the community, the more a creator can feel supportive and the more motivation a creator can have to get through negative situations is something I wrote.
See that? And there's I think like the community that we're in can be very supportive of that. But that's kind of what it's been built around though too, is just sharing your side of things and sharing the fun times that happen.
Yeah.
There's some instances where you just can't have that. There's
Yeah.
some communities where like they're stricter than dog's butt about it. You know?
Mhm.
Um I'm trying to think of like a good example here because I have a good example. I'm just trying to think of it. I lost it. I had it and I lost it. But there's I think just going on to that though, right? There's so much trust that goes into that as well because you got to trust people not to say something dumb or to use you. I've seen that a lot where people just get used a shit. I can't say that. Get used a crap ton. Yeah, I can say that. They
Well,
get used a
okay.
lot.
I'm going to get real. Yeah, I'm going to get real here with like how I some of my viewers have heard me use the term old moon, and the reason I say old moon is that if people look at some of my early content and they can realize that there are actually some VODs that are there's a large amount of VODs that are missing from like the very beginning of Moon. And that is because I got put in a very negative situation to where someone was controlling like every little bit of like Moon's background and like how I dressed Moon and like everything. And I was like, once I got that person out of my life, you can see just a dramatic shift from like how like Moon acted before to like how Moon acts now. And I'm not
Yes.
talking like myself as being people call me Moon. I mean the character Moon.
Yes.
But more going back towards the questions from the viewers, which is the main question, well, what was the biggest impact you've seen a community do? And I think a great example of it is what's currently going on here in October with our community with breast cancer awareness and stuff. Cause
So they usually, and this has happened. This like I'm old, so I'm all to say this. Every year, the community that we're in basically does a event for the entire month. So basically, they have certain vehicles and or certain uniform setups to where it's set up basically to support breast cancer awareness and everything, right? Which it's a great thing. And to clarify, I love it, right? But they've added something else this year compared to previous years, and that's domestic violence awareness.
yeah.
Um, and a sad thing to say, that in particular, domestic violence is starting to become a lot more of a bigger thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So I appreciate it. My 2 cents. It's something that I haven't seen, at least to my knowledge, I've seen done yet from like a video game aspect. Maybe it has been. I'm just dumb and I don't get on the internet.
I
enough.
mean, from at least a 5M like perspective, I haven't myself seen that. I mean, from what I can tell, usually SAF has been the only community I've seen really like have almost like every department have some form of awareness vehicle.
Either awareness vehicle or even just like a memory patch. Like
Yeah.
we lost a member who was in charge of one of our big dispatch guys, and we lost him due to a tragic event that happened outside of that, and the support that we had for that
Yeah.
outside of like not even thinking about the game, just thinking about the family. I mean, it was huge.
Mhm. Yeah. I
Another
mean,
one in particular I can remember is when we had another individual who was a firefighter paramedic,
yep.
IRL, and he tragically passed due to some just ongoing health issues. And the crappy thing is, I had talked to the guy just before he had gone to the hospital to check on him.
Mhm.
Well, not really check on him, but just go. He wanted to check himself in because he wasn't feeling himself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of times where communities just led to new friendships and relationships. And that's another thing that people really forget to consider.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get that, and like even that, I feel like that's remained the same between pre-COVID and after COVID kind of situations. Is just relationships, and I'm not meaning like dating relationships. I mean like friendships and like just bonding with other people about similar topics with the same interests kind of situation.
I mean, goodness, it's even led to like IRL meetups outside of the game.
Oh yeah, and I mean like a generalized like communities coming together kind of idea I have is like conventions and stuff. Like that is a moment where everybody with similar interests is all bonding in one place. And then like like platforms have even set those things up like TwitchCon and VidCon and all those like there's so
many different conventions that are just out there.
Exactly.
Like talking from like outside of video game aspect, FDIC is a big one.
Yeah.
And that's talking about for anything fire department, fire and EMS related. Honestly, nowadays.
I mean, conventions have just been a part of history for ages.
I mean, it's led to great things that happened to it.
Yep. I mean, even looking back in like history and stuff, like conventions is how we got things done.
I'm trying to think if there's like something else. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. I'm trying to remember what it is. No, but I mean, just in general, I mean, like communities have done so much for other people that we tend to forget about because we're only focused. Like I see a lot of the focus on me aspect of it, and they don't think about the outside world, right? And that could be like a negative because like there's some communities where you have chances to get like higher positions to help benefit you, and people don't want to help with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or people don't want to, people don't want certain people in there because they feel like they can't be trusted, or they're not friend groups. Like I've seen that before too, where friend groups are just taking stuff over, and it hasn't gone well.
Yeah.
It's no offense to said friend groups, and there's certain friend groups that I've seen that happen with, and I'm still cool with. I like to think,
Mm-hmm.
even if they have an issue with me, I try and be cool with them because we're humans.
Yeah.
Stuff's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just, this is really hard to talk about because, our community just went through this whole freaking thing of it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, like even, it hurts relationships. I would say for sure, because I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good example here. I've seen friendships just because of power trips, because the power trips are just power position get ruined.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a sad thing to say for a community that communities what ruin. Oh, excuse me. It's a community that ruins friendships. That shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
And I myself have messed up a few friendships that I wish I could have back. I mean, but at the end of the day, we gotta live our own lives. If I still do want to make it up to them, but at the end of the day, I don't want to bother them with it either.
Right.
It's like I said, I'm willing to admit when I make mistakes. I mean, sometimes it's hard for other people to do that, but I'm willing to do that, both from a work side and from a personal side. I'll admit it, because I always want to try and better myself as a person. Not just think about me.
Right.
Because I would give everything off my back for people, and that's a crazy thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if people from my high school days heard that. Because I was still kind of the same way, but I wasn't that into it. Now I fully am, and I think it would shock people with the amount of stuff that I'm willing to do for people.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
my cat is screaming at me from all the way downstairs for some reason, and I don't know why. I hate to sidetrack like that, but seriously, it's getting annoying. Cat, what do you want?
I heard cad and not cat.
I don't know. It's the cat's being stupid. Oh, Bork.
Oh no. There's the dog.
That sounded very, I don't know, like scary blonde girl like for some reason. I don't know why. I'm serious. That sounded very like psycho girl like. I don't know
Probably
why.
probably because I am blonde.
Oh my god. Sorry, I had to.
And the blooper reels is already compiling itself.
Hey, that's fine. I mean, you gotta have the bloopers.